Guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings. Guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings. Guidance in a world of...
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. And today, of course, is our live day with Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and I am in a car in another state because I manifested something so big last month. After I told you all we were in Scorpio and that you had to manifest, I took my own advice, and it's amazing. So I had no other choice but to be in a car right now, so we're going to still do the show. Is that all right with you, Stacy?
Oh, absolutely. And it's great to hear you, Dwayne. Even though I can't see you, it's great to hear you.
Thank you. You wouldn't want to see me, but I can explain to you why, because I have a big zit on the right of my nose, and then I have another one under my nose and on my chin.
Oh,
So it's
no.
it's like
Stress
a
acne,
trifecta.
stress acne.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you have manifested something pretty exciting in your world, and I think it's really interesting that both of us have done some relocation just in the last couple of months. So, what's up with that in the end of 2024?
Isn't that wild? I mean, it's just crazy.
It is. Is there anything astrologically that would explain that?
Oh my God, yeah. And the time that we did it was really, you were really doing it during Scorpio, which was all about manifestation and that. And then I did it at the end of Scorpio, the very beginning of Sagittarius, and I'm a Sagittarius. So it all like worked together so perfectly.
Yeah, I love that. I love those. I love the fire signs, right? Like I love the fire,
Yeah.
the energy that the fire seasons bring. I always feel so much more motivated. Things are clearer. I mean, things move a lot faster too as a result
Yeah.
of that.
If you want to get something done, do it during a fire season.
It's true. It's very true. So I know you're in a car, but can you speak to some of what we are heading into for this next month in terms of the astrological energies? I know we've got a Mercury retrograde here in the final month of the year. I know there's some Mars retrograde coming up as well, and happy Pluto in Aquarius. We just did that a couple of days ago too. So what's going on? What's up for us?
Well, so the Mercury in retrograde is perfect timing actually for all of the electronics companies and phone companies, because everybody's phone's going to go crazy, and then people are going to say, I need a new phone for Christmas, you know.
Oh,
So
so there's a little
my
conspiracy
prediction
going
is
on.
huge sales in technology and phone.
Huge sales in technology and phone. That is crazy. Now, how ironic is that? How ironic is that? Now,
That's what I said. I mean, is there maybe a little? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but ooh, is there a little conspiracy going on there?
no, it's just a perfect. Maybe that's why seasons were made. I don't know at a certain time because remember, we celebrate we celebrate Christmas at a
No, no
time.
celibate. Actually, there are a lot of people who are doing celibacy
Yeah,
pacts
those
right
people.
now. So yeah,
Yeah,
celibate.
yeah, those people are weird. So we celebrate Christmas at the wrong time. So it's done at the end of the year. Maybe that's why, because shit can go haywire and everybody can go buy new stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's stuff. I mean,
It's crazy.
North America is what am I trying to say? It revolves around all of these holidays now, right? Because we're like the height of capitalism. So
It is. So, like, I had 3 meetings today. So I called my assistant. I was like, "Why did you schedule meetings for me today?" And I was like, "Wait, you're in the Philippines. You probably pay no attention to what's going
right.
on over here in
Can you
America."
hear me?
Yep,
Yeah,
we can
we can
hear
hear
you.
you. I saw that you dropped off. So Keone stepped in, and we've just been talking about the conspiracy
Oh,
that
yeah. I,
is.
I said hello and I didn't hear anything, so I thought maybe I dropped off.
Yeah,
Dwayne is the youngest 80-year-old man I've ever met in my life.
Oh my God. And you are the bitchiest person I've ever heard.
Aw.
You don't listen to yourself too much, then, do you?
So Dwayne, I'm still interested in what you have to say for like
No, but so what did you last hear?
I asked you about Pluto and Aquarius and the retrogrades, and you said that the Mercury
Now I don't
retrograde
hear
was
you
perfect
guys anymore
timing for
either.
Christmas.
I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the last thing you heard?
You were
Can you?
talking about technology and how it falls in line with retrograde, and we said it's a conspiracy, so everybody needs to buy new stuff at the end of the year for
Right,
Christmas.
right. Did you hear about the Mars in retrograde?
No, we didn't
No.
hear you. We just heard you say
Okay, so I
something
talked the
about
whole thing
Mercury.
about Mars in retrograde, meaning as we come up in Sagittarius, it's going to be very hard to not be truthful about how you feel about people treating you a certain way.
Ooh.
And so Sagittarius and Mars and all of that, it's going to mean that um, you're going to end up telling people not to treat you either badly or how to treat you positively that will make it work for you. What works for you, kind of thing.
Interesting. Any
You still there?
suggestions on that?
Hello?
Keone,
We
I
hear
don't
you,
think you can hear
Dwayne.
me.
Dwayne,
Yeah?
we can hear you. You just keep talking. You don't have to say hello. We can hear you. Just keep going.
Oh, okay. Uh, and then, well, I think I'm done.
You know what, Stacy? I can't. You know what? You ever heard the term, it's so bad that it's good?
Yeah, I think that's this show today. That's definitely this show. I don't think he can hear me because every time I ask him a question, he starts talking and saying,
I
"Can you hear
can't hear
me?"
shit.
There's,
Right.
if we purposely tried to script this to be this dysfunctional, it would never turn out.
True story. True
It would
story.
never turn out. So,
Well, let
Dwayne,
I
me
think we should call this one Fuck a Duck.
well let me dive on in here a little bit
Quack,
and
quack, motherfucker.
okay, let
bring
Stacy
some.
bring some sanity to the
Yeah,
show.
let me bring some sanity to the
Yes.
show. So we are currently
I
in.
can't hear Stacy at all.
Dwayne, can you hear me? Dwayne?
I hear you, but I don't hear
Okay,
Stacy.
here's the thing. Stop talking.
Yeah?
We can hear everything you say. So when you say I can't hear Stacy, we all hear you.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to bring a little sanity to the show, and
I'll tell you when Stacy stops talking, Dwayne.
we
Okay.
are currently in Sagittarius season, and
Yes.
as Dwayne said, there's a lot of really goodness to the fire and working with the fire. This month, of course, is the final month of 2024, and I want to encourage everyone. This is kind of normally a part where we start to go into reflection mode. We start to evaluate where we've been, did we achieve all the goals that we wanted to achieve for the year? Where are we going moving forward? What do we need to do to sort of tie up loose ends for the year? So I would encourage everyone during this month to take time out at least once a week to do a little bit of that conscious evaluation. Often, at least for me, and I don't know if it's this way for anybody else, but for me, I have to make it an intuitive process because I'm always in my head anyway, that I do the processing while I'm doing 57,000 other things. I get all these amazing insights, but I'm doing other things, so I'm not writing them down and I'm not really present with what's going on. And then before you know it, I'm like, okay, well, all of that delicious reflection time just passed me by, and now I've got to, chunk it in, and it feels a little less authentic to do it that way. So take a little bit of time each week to do in the intentional reflection time. Reflect on what you've accomplished for 2024, and then give yourself a little moment or two to reflect on what you would like to see happening in 2025. So I've pulled us a card for this month and what can support us. And oh my God, I got the judgment card. And I love the judgment card. The judgment card is the Phoenix emerging. And Phoenix emerging, for those of you who don't know, I'm all about the Phoenix. I'm all about transformation. And there are 5 phases of the Phoenix that we all go through in various forms and guises throughout our life. And there's the Phoenix burning. So you come to the end of your road about something, your feathers are frayed and worn, and eventually you're like, something's got to give, I'm stick a fork in me, I'm done. And then you spontaneously combust, you turn into a pile of ash. And then you're in the ash for a while, and that's the Phoenix growing phase. And this is where you don't have a vision. You're not who you were. You have no idea who you're becoming. You're just kind of in the messy middle. You're in the goop. You're in the secret sauce. And it's all about receiving, reflecting, recharging, regrouping, receiving. Then you move into the Phoenix emerging phase. And Phoenix emerging is the birth canal. Woo, there's a little light at the end of the tunnel, and this little womb is starting to get a little cozy, a little too cozy. I'm getting a little cramped in here, so let me go and see what is on the other side of this tunnel. And that is where there's a lot of excitement for the new, but there's also a lot of push-pull. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. A lot of contraction, and then great expansion as a result. Then quickly we have the Phoenix rising, which is the new baby bird, wings wet, ready to take on the world. And that's the exploration phase. And then we have the soaring, Phoenix soaring phase, which is okay, I've experimented enough in this new version of me. I know who I am, and I've committed to a path, and let's do this. So judgment is coming up. It's decisions. It's the call to action. It says you've almost completed that fool's journey. You've baked yourself in the womb, and now there's an opportunity for you to move ahead into something new. Are you ready for it? Are you going to choose the blue pill or the red pill? And that's what this is all about. So I feel like this is coming up for us this month because we are at the precipice of creating something new, creating something different. And it is about our actions, our choices. We have to make the choice. This angel that shows up, from the heavens and comes down to the place where the body was resting. The old form of us was resting, and you open up the coffin, and the new life comes out. The invitation is, do you need to go another round? Have you learned your lesson? Or do you need to go back? Do you want to do it one more time? Do you want another go at it? Or are you ready for the new? Are you ready for the next adventure? And of course, the next card that comes after this is the Fool. That Phoenix rising. Okay, I'm on this new adventure. Blind faith. What's coming up here? I'm ready for something new and different, and I'm also open to being a student. So we are on the precipice right now of having the opportunity to make that choice. I want to say choose, but choose wisely. What will you choose? Do you feel like you didn't learn enough and you want to kind of go back around to some things, revisit some things from 2024, 2023? Or are you ready to say, close this fucking door? I am so over it and let's move on to
Close
the
it.
next. And the choice is yours. And I feel like we're all going to be very supported in this choice. Whatever decision we make, we're supported by our own individual divine dream teams. And I feel that we're also supported astrologically. And we'll see in a second what Fabulous Dwayne has to say about that, whether he agrees or disagrees. But I'm feeling very much that we have the support of the universe to take this step for us. So, what will you choose? Dwayne, any comments?
Dwayne, now you can talk. He fell asleep.
Thank you, Stacy, for whatever you said. I'm sure that it was enlightening and moving.
Oh boy.
um,
I do have a
what should
question
I
for you,
say
Dwayne.
now?
Well, I do have a question for you, Dwayne. From was a question
Yeah.
from the audience before. Is there anything special to two birthdays that people ask astrology? One, if your birthday falls on the new year, and two, people who were born on February 29th because they don't get a birthday but every 4 years. Well, they get a
Yeah,
birthday
and you
every
know
year,
what?
but
When you're trying to Yeah, and when you're trying to calculate your rising and all that, they have to take leap years into account. But when your birthday is on that, there's other things that are kind of interesting because there's all different ways. People celebrate their birthday, so that doesn't come into play. But based on how you were born, that day never really changes. It only changes intellectually, like on a paper. But that day comes around every year, whether it's called February 29th or it's called March 3rd or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
no, I never thought about it that way. Well, I
Yeah,
know
so you're going
if
to
you were
always
born
still.
February 29th, you celebrate your birthday on February 28th every year except for leap year. But you're saying astrological wise, it really doesn't matter because it only matters intellectual wise because we're the one that made up the dates. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Right, right, because the moon and the planets are going to move where they're going to move. It doesn't matter what we call it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So on that actual day that you were born, whether we call that a February day or a March day or whatever it is, um, or February 28th or 29th, it's still going to come around and you're going to be affected by that movement of the planet and the moon.
Hmm. Interesting.
That
Yeah, it's
speaks.
wild how all of this stuff works. And it's really the majority of it is scientific. Even I've been working with these, foster youth, and we've been trying to really focus with them on manifestation. And manifestation seems like it's magical, but really it's not. It's quite scientific, you know?
Hmm. That's
So, like,
interesting.
Okay, hold on,
astrology,
Dwayne. Pause, Dwayne.
what?
Go ahead. Pause, Dwayne. Go ahead, Stacy.
Well, I just find that really interesting. I feel like that speaks to the concept of time as well. That this has been coming up a lot in sessions and in meditations and channelings for me over the last year or so. Is that our higher guides are inviting us to release the concept of time, that time is sort of a man-made construct connected to the duality of the planet Earth. It's part of the I want to say the game of life, but we now are in an energetic space where time can actually get in the way. Time can hinder us rather than help us. It limits us because we get caught up in our heads about this idea of time. And what he's kind of saying there, it's like, well, if we made up the birthday, the energy is still there. The energy is still the same, no matter what we've labeled it or not labeled it. We're still moving through it. We're still experiencing it, and we're still acknowledging how that energy is affecting us in the now. So I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, if we get rid of time, I won't know when to go to work.
Right. So obviously, yes. I mean, when I say getting rid of the concept of time, it's obviously there
I
are
don't know
certain
what
things
that
we have
means,
to
but it
do.
sounds good.
Yeah. So Stacy's basically, in a nutshell, the way he was talking about getting rid of the concept of time because sometimes it hinders us energetically, right?
Yes,
It
and
prevents-
hinders us
Yeah.
from moving forward, doing things. It,
Mhm.
it blocks our creative flow. It gives us the impression that there's only so much of it, and so
Mhm.
we can't do certain things because society has told us, well, it takes this or that or the other thing. And
It's the one thing that you lose and you can't get back. Dwayne,
right,
comment on this. So when you're talking about that, the construct of time is another thing is, you know what? Time also hinders us in making decisions. For instance, when I was a personal trainer and I would, get a new client, there's like, well, it's always, well, I'll start Monday. Why do we have to start on Monday? Why can't you start tomorrow? Or today? It's just like New Year's. Why do you wait to the New Year's to do reflections and talk about making yourself better and all that when you can do that any other time of the year because this is the time to do it.
well, it's the time we've been programmed to
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely.
Yeah, which so I look at that as now I'm getting what you're saying as time can be a hindrance. You know, it's just
Yeah,
like
well,
thinking you're. It's just like Dwayne thinking you're 20 minutes from a place and you're actually an hour, right?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, poor Dwayne, Stacy, poor Dwayne. For those of you out there, Dwayne had a career change, so he had to pack up a U-Haul and drive it 8 hours to his last destination. So he's hanging in there. He's tired. He's been moving, and I just glad that he was able to join us today to talk about that.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. If
mhm,
there's any time that this is going to work out, it's now in Sagittarius. And my best advice to everybody right now is no matter what sign you are, all you have to do is let go of all the stupid crap you're thinking that's keeping you from talking to people, thinking they're angry, whatever. Start to love everybody around you, have a good time, and party because you don't know if you're going to live another day, much less another year, 10 years, whatever. So just have a good time. That's what Sagittarius is all about.
Hmm.
Tomorrow's not promised. Um, how do you, Stacy? How do you feel? What I'm doing is because we're not going to have a lot of people on today because my connection to my YouTube didn't go out until we started the show. So I don't know if anybody's hopping on. So what I've been doing is digging through the emails, which I'll do sometimes because sometimes people send us questions through emails, which I never see. And so someone had a question for you. It was a couple months ago. How do you manage and deal with people when they want you to comment on their health or death? You know,
Oh,
and,
sure. So for me, I am a medium,
mhm,
but I am not. It's not in my wheelhouse to connect with loved ones in spirit
mhm,
as a practice. They'll come through from time to time in sessions, but I tend to channel more the archangels,
mhm,
the higher beings, that kind of thing. So when someone asks me about someone who is transitioned, I say to them, "Listen, I'll do my best to tap in and give you what I'm getting. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. I'll be very honest with you about that. And if you're looking for something like that, I also offer recommendations for people who do that as their wheelhouse. When people are asking me questions about like when am I going to die, or when is this person going to die, or is there a spell I can cast to help somebody's death along, I say, not my circus, not my monkeys. That's just
right.
not something that I believe that transition is between each person and their maker. Now, having said that, there have been times when I have received information about someone who's already in the process of transitioning. And they'll have a question about, okay, this person's been hanging on for a couple of months or a couple of weeks and they're really in a bad state. I'm nervous. Like, do I stay? do I go home and will I have enough chance to come back to handle this thing, or am I going to miss this? Those kinds of things I do get information on. And I will share that information, but it's because the transition is already underway and in process. When you
You
ask
prefer
about
the
the health thing is interesting because legally, I am not allowed, because I am not certified, to make comments about health related issues. And I also would take it a step further and say I am not a certified medical intuitive. So, again, kind of like the loved ones in spirit, I can tap in and get you health information in a private session. It does come through a fair amount, but it's not my wheelhouse. So, if you are looking for that kind of guidance and information, I have other sources that I sort of direct you to. But when we are doing this kind of stuff here,
Mhm.
legally, I am not supposed to be giving that type of information. So,
Okay.
that's why you see a lot of readers on YouTube saying this is for entertainment purposes only, and seek medical, professional help, seek a therapist out, seek someone who
Yeah,
is
I
certified.
literally saw someone doing a stream, and this woman was talking about wanted help with some issues she was dealing with. And the guy said, "Let's stop right here. With what you just told me, you need to seek the resources where you live. After this live, if you want to email me, I will reach out and help you find the resources, but you need to get your mental health together." So it's like people
Yeah.
think that, we always talked about it. Hollywood has ruined it, right?
Yeah.
They think you guys are like a circus act. Just click you on and tell me my future.
Right.
Um, Dwayne, how
Yes.
do you deal with when you have sessions with people who utilize their horoscopes as an excuse for their behavior?
Well,
A question from the audience.
well, I think in that sense, whenever I read somebody, if they do kind of want to guide things that way, they'll usually say something very specific in the beginning, like, "Am I gonna get the job?" Or they say something that's what they want to focus it on, and so I know at that point that it's about career or whatever it's about, and so I will just tell them the truth of what I really feel and what I see, and if it's about that subject and it doesn't necessarily come out the way they want it, then I tell them how they can maybe get there, some solutions to it.
That's a great answer, Dwayne. Too bad that wasn't my question.
Oh, oh, what was your question?
But that was a great answer. When you're dealing with someone, every horoscope has, things, their attitudes, personalities, and all of that.
Yeah.
When someone uses their horoscope to try to excuse their poor behavior, like,
Oh,
you're being a total bitch, and you go, "Well, it's because I'm a Sagittarius." It's like, no,
oh,
it's not because you're a Sagittarius. You're being a bitch.
oh, I see. Well, I guess if somebody does that, then obviously they're just trying to use it as an excuse because I mean we can all be bitches, we can all be this or that, um, but I think when people are doing that, that's because they don't have any other way of explaining whatever it is they're trying to excuse. So they just put it on their sign. But as we know, your sun sign is only 1/10 really of what you are. So
Hmm.
even if you say, "Oh, I'm a Sagittarius and that's why I act this way," that's astrologically not why you act that way. The way you act is because of the 10 different signs that you are because of where all the planets and the moon was at the moment of your birth. And that's you developed over 9 months in a sack of water that created your neurological system. And so that's why you act that way.
Hmm. I've never heard it put
You
that
know,
way.
it makes me think of
Yep.
people who continually blame their parents for their actions. I
Okay.
always say it's really it's a game of responsibility and accountability. You can only blame your upbringing and your parents until you're about 23 or 24, and then the gloves
Well,
have to come off. You got to take responsibility for your life, because at that point it's like, okay, you're the one who's making choices.
I
You have to own it.
I agree with you, but I want to caveat that because someone told me that because like there's some things I do very poorly, and I'll go, oh god damn my mother. They go, well, you can't blame your mother. I said, no, 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 no. There's a difference. I'm not blaming, but I understand why I do certain things.
Oh, sure.
It's like it's
Absolutely.
my fault now. It's my responsibility because it's my choice. But I think what people need to do instead of blaming their upbringing is like, here's the thing: when you have a problem and you're self-aware of that problem, you fix it. If
Yep.
you're not aware you have a problem, then I can't excuse you for not fixing something you're not aware of. So I know this is a problem because this is how I was taught or bred to think. And now that I know it's a problem, it's on me to fix it because that's what you're talking about. Now I can't blame my parents at 46 when I make a bad financial decision. I can go, God, I wish I would have learned that early, but I can't blame them anymore
Right.
because I have the tools. But I understand why I do. Bill Burr says it. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bill Burr, the comedian. He says this the best. He goes, his wife, every now and then she'll go, what's wrong with you? And he goes, how many stories must I tell you about my childhood before you follow the breadcrumbs and realize you married a lunatic?
Well, I mean, I suppose it goes to Dwayne's point as well about astrology. It's like, listen, the astrology is the blueprint.
Yep.
But once you're in it and you're living the blueprint, you have full autonomy to decide whether you want to live in the asshole parts of your astrology chart, or whether you want to live in the good parts, in the light parts. I mean, that's the whole point of it, is to give you information so that you can then choose the self-awareness and then be more empowered in your choices moving forward.
All right. I love it. Dwayne, you're still with us, right? Oh, look,
The
Dwayne is
camera with
he's
Dwayne.
actually in what
He's
I made
somewhere.
it.
he's wait, now I gotta find you. Now I can't I got your
He's in a
transcript.
workout studio.
Look, what is he doing? What's going on? Ah, there he is.
There
That's
you
that scared the
are.
shit out of me.
Wait, let me try to turn it.
This is what I mean. He's an 80-year-old man. How do you get this thing to work? Why is
Oh,
the toilet flushing? Is this velvet? Like he's so old. How did he get so old?
how does this damn thing work?
I'm gonna have to go and look at it on the iSpace. It's called Facebook, Dwayne. It's not called
The
iSpace.
ice face.
There we go. I
Yay! Can
got
you
it.
hear me now that your video's on?
What's that? Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. I finally got on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm gonna take us back for a second now that you can hear me.
Yeah.
And my question to you was, with all of that, well, actually, I can't take it back to you because you didn't hear anything that I said. I
Right? You
just
said a
realized
lot.
that now. I was asking about how can the current astrology help all of us out with our decision making around the next choices and the movement forward, getting
Oh,
ready to
okay.
go into the fool's journey.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect because in Sagittarius and going into Capricorn, the best thing to do is to go with your gut. No matter what your gut tells you, it's telling you the truth. Even if it seems it's the hardest thing to do,
Hmm.
go with what your gut says is what you're supposed to do, because sometimes you may have to take a step or two that's not comfortable to get to where you want to go. So that's when you're making your decisions, don't base it on, oh, but it's a little more money, oh, but it's a little bit closer to the beach, oh, but the person really is still kind of nice, like you don't want to be iffy or whatever. You want to consult with your gut and do what it says. That's the
Yeah.
best way to make a decision right now, because then when we go into Capricorn, you're going to look back and you're going to say, is this right? And if it is, it's going to be really good. And if it's not, it's going to be really bad.
Ooh, so okay, what do you mean by that then? Because you're saying trust your gut. So if you trust your gut, it should be good.
Well, that's what I mean. And if you
Oh,
don't, it could be really
oh,
bad.
if you don't trust your gut, it could
If
be
you
really
don't
bad.
trust your gut, by the time
Gotcha.
you get to Capricorn, things will get worse because it's not the right move.
Gotcha. Okay, you had me there for a second. I was like, "Oh my God, what do you mean trusting the gut and it might not work?"
No, the gut will always tell you right now in Sagittarius. It will tell you in Sagittarius, in Virgo, in Capricorn, in those types of signs. The time not to really go with the gut and go more with the feeling and the energy is like Pisces, Scorpio, those
Water
types.
seasons, yeah.
Yeah, those more feeling times. And then when you get into the air signs, it's more what do you think is the right thing? Like what comes to you intellectually, you
Mm,
know? So it's interesting and it's worked for me. And I recently in Scorpio made this big change, moved states. You did that during Scorpio, so that's a time to go with your feeling. Like we both felt that it was time to do that thing,
yeah.
and then we went into Sagittarius, which is doing. So now it's like all the doing stuff coming from it, so then we'll go into Capricorn and we're going to look back and say, was what I did during Scorpio and what I'm doing during Sagittarius, is it right? Is it good for me? And should I continue with it? And because we both went with the way that we felt and our guts, it's going to be right and it's going to grow.
Okay. Well, that's great to know because I'm here now. I'm hoping to God it's the right choice because
Yeah, well, all you have to do
I'm
is set your
stuck with it.
intention. Set your intention
Yeah.
and give yourself a lot of detail because you can very easily miss a detail, and that's the one detail that will glaringly shine in your face when that thing manifests. So you have to be detailed and you have to be thoughtful of, what do I really want? Do I really want $1 million, or do I really just want financial freedom? Because they're two different things. You don't need $1 million for financial freedom. For financial freedom, all you need is enough to pay your bills and have a little extra left over. You don't need to be a millionaire. That's
Right.
where some people are going wrong. They're making these wishes and intentions for all this stupid stuff that they don't need. That's why the universe doesn't rise up to meet them when they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is not overindulging, but rather, going for what the real thing is. Then the universe just jumps up to meet them in the moment, right away. It's a very instantaneous thing.
Ooh. So I'm going to pull a card on that for anyone watching
Let's do that.
to get a card for the energy you can use to manifest what you need in the right
Yeah,
away.
yeah, and
Oh,
and and in one sense, people are like, "Oh, well, go for the gold, go for the biggest wish you can." That's fine, but don't think you need that biggest thing. You
right.
don't need that. You may
It's all
want it,
about
but
the
you don't.
words. It's all
Yeah,
about the words. It's how we word it.
yeah.
So we pulled three of laurels, and in this deck, laurels is pentacles. So
Wow.
this is collaboration. It's the work and effort that goes in, but it's not, it's paying attention to the details.
Yeah,
It's doing the details. There's also a level of learning to get the basics done. Like I always describe this card as the you wake up in the morning and you decide you want to make some bracelets. And you've never
right.
made bracelets before. So you get online, you watch a couple of YouTube videos, you go to Michael's, you buy the ingredients that you need, the supplies that you need, and you sit home and you make your first bracelet and you're like, well, that looks like shit, but okay, we're going to try it again. And then you try the second time and you watch the video again and you're like, okay, well, that was a little bit better. And then you make the third one and you're like, oh, okay, now I found my flow. And then, you make 100 of them. And then I say the eight of laurels or the eight of pentacles is where you are fine tuning your craft. And that's where you're like, okay, I've made 100 of these basic ones. It's time to now bejewel, bedazzle them. And let's have some fun and let's get really creative because I understand the basics. So I
Yeah,
think that really is fitting for what you were saying about the
absolutely.
manifestation process.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about knowing what you want, being detailed about it, and being practical, not so lofty in your ideals for what you think needs to be. Because I'll guarantee everybody here watching or who will watch this in the future, I guarantee you that anybody who has it all feels like they don't have anything at all.
Yeah.
And I
So
bet you
subjective.
there are guaranteed thousands of people out there that have relatively nothing and they feel like they've got the world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a matter of perspective. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm doing a lot of manifestation work myself, so this is just right on point for me too. You're right. Sometimes it's not about manifesting the dollar amount. It's more about manifesting how you want to feel with it all, the concepts around it. And there are times when, yeah, you absolutely do need to manifest a specific dollar amount. And I always include this or something even better.
Yeah.
Right. Or the minimum is this, and I am open to receiving more.
Yeah.
That's always an important caveat to put on there as well, because you don't want to limit the universe. The universe might say you need 5,000, but I can give you 10. If you say I only need 5,000, then the universe is like, okay, I'm only going to give you 5,000. So
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
want to be very clear with your words.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. And if you say things in the wrong way or manifest them, that you can get bizarre outcomes that you didn't expect. I've been in that situation before, and it's very important to be sure that you know what the outcome will be. Think it through a little bit, because you'll get bizarre versions.
Oh yeah. Like whenever I do like soulmate work or soulmate manifesting or partner manifestation, I've learned over the years the hard way, like you have to be so detailed, because you can't just leave it all up to chance, because you're going to get like, for me it was always okay, I've got the person who's got all the right things in all the right places, but he's 5'2" and I'm 5'10". That
There
just,
you go.
it doesn't fly with me. It might fly
Yeah.
for someone else. It doesn't fly with me. And so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to remember, you got to put in all of these things too. So it's important to, and I feel like this brings us back to the reflection piece. It's important for you to really reflect this season on what it is that you want, and
Yeah.
get into the details of it, get into the nitty gritty of it, because you're guaranteeing that you're going to, because you are going to manifest everything we think. When we attach a feeling to it, we manifest it in some
Whether
form,
it's good or bad. Yeah.
whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So we might as well be intentional about it. So be present, be in your now, and be intentional about all of your reflections.
Yeah. And right now is a great time to be adventurous. So if there's something that you want to manifest that you're fearful of, that you're worried may not be fun or this or good, or you're not going to be good at it, this is the time to do that. Because again, when we get into Capricorn, you're going to be more in a critical place. You're going to be more of a place that's like, is this exactly right? And let's say you decide to take up drawing right now, and you enjoy 4 weeks of it. And then in December, at the end of December, the beginning of January, you think, all right, well, I did it. I tried it. I don't like it as much as I really thought I would. I'm
Right.
not really making it perfect, and so it's not making me happy, and blah, blah, blah. So that's fine. That's fine. 4 weeks of something interesting that you now know is better than a lifetime of nothing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've gone through that cycle a million and one times, where I get this amazing inspiration and I'm working towards it. And I was just talking about this with somebody else. You get this amazing inspiration, you add it to your vision, you're working towards it, and you've got tunnel vision on it, and you don't even realize as you're going through it that you've ended up surpassing it
Yeah.
in the thing of the vision. And when you actually start to take a minute to reflect on it, you go, yeah, why am I doing this? And
Yeah.
when you're looking at it, you're like, I'm doing it because at the time it was giving me some level of satisfaction. But now when I review and evaluate it, I'm not feeling that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm not supposed to do it anymore. I got what I needed from it, and it's time to.
Uh-oh. Oh my gosh.
Wow, we have someone.
Wow.
So Facebook, I was wondering why I was so quiet. The Facebook is not connecting the messages again, so they've been having a hoot in your Facebook chat.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad
so-
someone's laughing, because I was like,
Um,
this is abysmal.
Karina, she's gonna get a horoscope. But Karina, you gave me the day. I don't need the year. Give me the day and the month. I'm gonna delete this so no one has your full
Info, personal info.
birth date. So just give me the day and the month. And while we're waiting for Karina to do that, Jacqueline's been here since the beginning. So what we want to do is we want to get a card read pulled for Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I'm still saying her name wrong again.
No, you're saying it right, Jacqueline.
Okay. She's in there chuckling away. Yeah, she's
I'm
been laughing
glad,
for 40
Jacqueline, that you're
minutes.
chuckling away, because I was like mid-screen thinking nobody's watching this, and I was going to say to Keone, like, what the fuck are we doing?
Well,
This
we
is the
had
kind of stuff people love, though. When it all goes awry and you still do it, this is the show must go on kind of shit, you know?
Well, now that you can hear me, it's so much better.
Yeah. Oh my
no.
God.
I
Because I
actually
was,
liked it when it was a disaster. It was fun for me. I
I'm
know
sure.
Stacy's like,
I
we got to get
get
into
so stressed. The Virgo in me is like, what the fuck?
And I'm sitting there in my car thinking, I can't wait to watch this later so I can hear what Stacy's saying.
So we're gonna get a card pull for Jacqueline, and then Dwayne, Karina.
A particle, a
Yeah,
particle.
a card pull, and Karina
Particle.
was happy to catch us today. She's 14. Whoa, 1401. I think that's January 14th.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
that
So
sounds right.
she's a
Yeah,
Capricorn
She's
on the,
probably British or Canadian.
yeah.
Okay, so Jacqueline, we got the tower for you. And I feel like this month there are going to be a lot of opportunities for you to evaluate. There are going to be like these sudden moments that you can't not see it. You know, I always talk about the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, dude. I can't unsee ya. Like it's done. That ship has sailed. I feel like you're going to have several opportunities, and everybody gets freaked out, dun dun dun, the tower. And I want to say to you, I don't feel that with you with this. I feel more like you're kind of inviting the tower in. You're looking at aspects of your life and saying, what really does need to be torn down so that I can build something new? What is not working with this particular situation or circumstance? Like, what is it? Because ain't nobody got time for that. Like, I'm letting that go so that I can move into something that is going to be much more fulfilling and more aligned with what I'm feeling in my heart space. And I feel like for you this month, it is really about the heart space energy. I don't know if this, oh, it's his hand. I'm going to say to you, I saw like he has his hand across his chest, touching his heart. I actually saw it for a second as a scroll. So I'm feeling also like there's some divine wisdom, some psychic guidance that's going to be coming through your dream state that feels like it's going to be like an addendum to your mission. It's almost like, hey, we know that you've been working on this and this, but this opportunity just popped up. Would you like to participate? And it doesn't mean you have to let go of anything else. I feel like what it really is kind of inviting you to do is add on to the adventure. And I want to say with the tower card, the tower is going to empower you, the tower of power. You're going to feel very empowered by this if you choose to embrace its alternate meaning, which is a shift in perspective. And I feel like that's what you're bringing to people in your life. And that's also what you are seeking. You're seeking to see all of these different opportunities from all different angles before you kind of say, yeah, all right, I'm in. Or, yeah, I know which direction I want to take. So the Tower of Power is what this is for you this month. And it's going to help you with perspective shifts, giving others perspective shifts, a swift kick in the ass, and giving yourself perspective shifts that feel more chosen. Like you're going into it and you're saying, okay, I need to look at this from all angles. What is it that I'm seeing, with no preconceived ideas, with no attachment to anything? I just need to see it pure. And then from an emotionally detached space, I can then get clarity, and then I can decide, do you stay, do you go, and how do we move forward? So I hope that makes some sense.
she said absolutely.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. And I'm so glad that you were there hanging in and laughing, because I was so not. And now I feel so much better that there are people actually watching.
Yes. Dwayne, so we've got Karina, January 14th.
Yeah, so January 14th, Karina, that's Capricorn. And right now, Capricorns either have or are going through some things that just are unavoidable, changes that are unavoidable. And you are really good at being able to kind of glide through it, act as though nothing's wrong, and allow everything to kind of smooth over. But it's important for Capricorns to feel their feelings and to go through to issues and not around issues, because if you do that, if you go around an issue, it will not only grow, but it will grow in huge amounts very quickly. And it will always come after you. So any issues that come up for any Capricorns at this time, it's very important for you to deal with it. Feel it. If it hurts, let it hurt. If it's scary, figure out why it's scary. Don't say, "Oh no, I have to make believe this doesn't exist. Oh, I have to stay away from this kind of thing." No. Look at what is causing that feeling or what is causing the issue and go through it. And once you do, it's done. You don't have to keep doing it over and over. And you'll find those patterns are probably the same patterns you've had your whole life. It's a different situation, but it's the same feeling that you keep going around. So for Capricorns right now, it's deal with the what needs to be dealt with so that you can enjoy yourself. Because Capricorns are all about family, all about tradition. What is more family and tradition than the frickin' holidays? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're worried about some stupid issue that could be over in 24 hours and you're day after day avoiding it, how many days do you have to keep doing that? You don't have to. You can go through it, get done 24 hours, and all of a sudden it's on to the new life, because right now is the first day of the rest of all of our lives, and nobody's getting any younger. So it's very important for Capricorns to realize, if you want to remain practical as you like to be, it is not practical to not deal with things head on, and to allow them to be what they are. And when that happens for Capricorns, everyone around them feels the difference and grows. It's like, the rising tides raise all ships. That's the way that the Capricorn is, because so many people end up depending on Capricorn, feeling that they are a big part of their family and their connection and all these things. So if you feel good, everybody feels a lot better. So Capricorns have to remember that too. You're like the light bulb in the center of the family, and it's important for you to turn that light on for everybody. And that's a lot of what they feel too. They feel that pressure of being needed by people, and sometimes that can get to them. So for you, Karina, I would say deal with your issues. Not that you don't, maybe you do. I'm just saying this is a generalized Capricorn thing, but anything that comes up, deal with it right away. Enjoy your family, enjoy the traditions. And another thing for Capricorns is, between now and January, look at your finances and figure it out. Whatever needs to be done, figure it out now. Don't wait till the beginning of the year. Finances are important, because that's what's going to give you a sense of anxiety come the new year, and you're not sure of what exactly is going on. So that's another big part. When it comes to romance, I think Capricorns need to focus on themselves before they can focus on anyone else. Until you love yourself completely, don't go trying to do it with someone else, because, again, the practicality part, you're going to be like, why am I spinning my wheels here? Don't do that. Make yourself whole, and then go look for love and companionship and partnership. Or get a puppy, for Christ's sake. And then, and then when it comes to the gift giving, you don't have to be so extravagant, Capricorns. Don't worry about extravagance. It's The gift is from the heart, then people know that, and it's not about how much you spend and how amazing it is. It's what you thought about that person in that moment when you bought it. So that's my best advice for Karina and all the Capricorns out there.
Karina
Make
said,
adjustments, of course, for your own rising sign, moon, and 9 planets.
Karina said, you were hitting it on the head, going through a lot. Love this. And then at the end, she said, "Wow, you're so right." Again, Jacqueline said, "Absolutely." And my grandmother said,
Sir, can you do me a favor and make a phone call for me?
When you get to the jail,
Oh, kiss my ass in front of Macy's at high noon.
"That's what my grandma said." Well, everybody, it's been, I had to end it on that because that's how we started.
It
The
is.
tragedy.
You're right.
But here's the good thing. We laugh and we have fun out here, but there's a lot of great information and things that were said today. Glad we were able to check the Facebook. It finally popped up and get Karina in here. So it was the first time Karina was on here. Karina, thank you for watching. Karina, if you didn't know, the last Wednesday of every month, unless it's, a holiday, we have this show at 6 p.m. So thank you, Karina, for joining us.
Thank you guys for dealing with my tech issues and driving.
Well, Dwayne, a lot of people in America, I've heard, are used to your performance issues. So you're fine. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you said that because our show is now sponsored by Viagra.
Oh, fantastic.
But no, actually, we're doing the generic version. It's called Macoxafloppin.
Stacy, you know what? Normally I hit the outro button and that would be perfect, but for our show, but I have to tell everybody what we got coming up for you in December because you do year in review. Is that what it's called?
Year in preview. The year in preview 2025. Yes. So we normally don't release it until December 1st, but because of the way the holiday ran, my website people basically today's their last day of work for like the next week. So it's available now. If you want to book it, it's your year in preview 2025. It is my most popular service. It's limited time, December 1st through to January 31st. Once the 31st is done, it's out. And it's basically, it's a personalized reading. You and I have a chat for an hour and I pull cards and I tell you what you got going on for every single month of the year. You can record it. I've been doing this for, I think this is my 9th year offering this service. And I have people who've been doing it every year with me for 9 years. They love it. They record it. They take notes. They refer back to it every single month to see what happened in the month before, what's coming up in the next month. And it's a really great, it's fun. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's fun to receive the information. It's fun to have it throughout the year to help you for what you got going on. And I also have year in transformation. Year in preview is predictive. Year in transformation is prescriptive. And so it's also predictive in its own ways, but you get channeling directly from your guides. You get a card pull, you get a meditation, you get reflection questions, you get a healing in there. There's a personalized affirmation, and it helps with whatever stage of transformation you're going through. And it really gives you that blueprint so that you're not feeling like you're a leaf blowing in the wind. And that is also only up until January 31st. So would love to be able to connect with you guys in those ways. Thanks for listening to me, and happy turkey if it applies.
Okay. And Dwayne, what do you have coming up besides going around erasing your phone number off of stalls?
Well, I have my new reading, which is called the WTFISIDD, which is the What the Fuck Should I Do, Dwayne reading, which is, it's however long you want it, and I will just tell you what the fuck you should be doing.
I'll sign up for that. That sounds great. So where can we find you, Dwayne? Do you still not have a website?
Nope, bitches can't find me anywhere. I'm off the grid.
Yep, that's our show, folks. That's our show.
Even, that's all, folks. You guys have a great holiday. See ya.